Welcome back to the Senior Health Podcast. I want to begin with a scene that might feel familiar. Picture this. You're gardening, you get a tiny scratch from a rose thorn. You clean it, maybe add some cream, and wait. Days pass, then weeks. But instead of fading, the scratch lingers. Red, tender, slow to heal. For many people over 60, this isn't just an annoyance, it's a signal. We often think wrinkles, dry skin, or slow healing cuts are simply part of getting older. But what if they're not? What if they're actually signs that the skin's defenses, the very front line of your immune system, are weakening from the inside out? Today, we'll explore a fascinating truth. The foods we choose each day can decide whether our skin struggles or recovers. And I can think of no one better to guide us than our returning guest, Dr. Hinohara, a physician who has cared for patients for more than half a century, blending traditional Chinese medicine with wisdom about long life and healing. Dr. Hinohara, welcome back.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. It warms me to sit with you again. In Chinese, we say, the skin is the cloth of the spirit. When the cloth frays, it shows where the spirit is tired. Many people believe skin is only surface, but in truth, it is the window of the inner rivers, the blood, the qi, the balance of heat and cold within the body. When healing is slow, it is not only a matter of years past, it is a message. And like all messages from the body, if we listen closely, we can respond with care, not resignation.
That's beautifully said. I think our audience will resonate with that because when a cut refuses to close, or when wrinkles seem to deepen suddenly, it feels discouraging. But you're suggesting it's more than just aging. It's something we can influence.
Yes, aging is like a river that moves steadily, but the speed of its current depends on how we live. In my clinic, I have seen people in their 70s heal like those in their 40s, and others whose skin seemed older than their years. The difference was not creams or lotions, it was often what they placed on their plates.
So let's get to the heart of it. Why does this happen? Why do so many people over 60 notice their skin heals more slowly, or that cuts leave lasting marks? From a Western medical view, I know that aging reduces collagen production, blood circulation slows, and immune cells don't respond as quickly. But is there more to the story?
Yes, you are correct, Dr. Miller. Modern science sees the cells and the circulation. Traditional Chinese medicine sees the balance of the whole terrain. We say, the body is like a garden. If the soil is dry, the seeds will not sprout, no matter how carefully you water them. In the older body, three things often shift. First, the qi, our vital energy, becomes weaker, like a flame that no longer burns as high. Second, the blood, what we call xu, circulates more slowly, meaning nourishment takes longer to reach the skin. Third, the balance of yin and yang tilts. Dryness rises, warmth declines, and the skin barrier, our protective gate, becomes fragile.
That's fascinating. In Western medicine, we describe it in similar terms, though with different language. Reduced immune response, poor microcirculation, and weaker connective tissue. What you call a fragile gate, we might call a compromised skin barrier. But let me ask, why does food play such a powerful role in this? Most people think of skincare as something you apply on the outside.
Because the skin is not a wall you paint. It is a living garden that feeds on what flows beneath it. Every bite of food becomes blood, qi, and fluid. If the food is nourishing, the rivers of the body stay clear and strong, carrying defense cells and nutrients to the wound. If the food is harmful, those rivers grow sluggish, thick, or inflamed. Then even a small scratch may linger like a wound in poor soil. In TCM, we observe that foods can either scatter the fire of inflammation or fan it higher. They can either moisten the garden or dry it further. That is why diet is as important as medicine for the elderly.
That makes sense. In fact, studies from the National Institutes of Health show that wound healing in older adults can take up to 4 times longer than in younger people. And nutrition is a huge factor. Lack of protein, antioxidants, or hydration slows down the body's repair crew. So really, whether we look at it from the east or the west, the message is the same. Food isn't just calories, it's instructions for the body on how to heal.
Exactly. And when the instructions are wrong, the body misreads the signals. That is why someone may apply the best cream, but the cut still refuses to close. The answer must come from within, not only from the surface.
Dr. Hinohara, when I think of my older patients, I notice certain patterns. Many of them try to protect their skin, but they make choices that actually backfire. For example, one common mistake I see is the belief that if I don't eat sweets, I'm safe. But hidden sugars in packaged foods like sauces, cereals, or flavored yogurts still flood the body with glucose. This not only raises blood sugar but also damages collagen, making the skin less elastic. Another mistake, people often switch to light oils or margarine, believing they're healthier than butter. But those ultra-processed foods can contribute to poor healing. Choosing minimally processed oils like olive or canola and balancing them with omega-3s from fish supports healthy inflammation control. And finally, I'd say alcohol. Many of my patients in their 60s or 70s believe even small amounts of alcohol can dehydrate the skin, lower immunity, and slow wound repair, especially in older adults. Would you agree with those, or would you see them differently?
I agree, Dr. Miller. These are common traps. In Chinese medicine, we say, what is sweet on the tongue may be bitter in the blood. Excess sugar, whether obvious or hidden, thickens the blood and stiffens the fibres that hold the skin together. The wound becomes like cloth that cannot be stitched. As for oils, you are right. In the old days, we used sesame or peanut oil in moderation, always balanced with other foods. Today's refined oils are stripped of balance, and they fuel silent fires in the body. The skin, instead of being a calm lake, becomes a restless sea, unable to settle and heal. And alcohol, yes, wine may warm the heart in small amounts, but for the elderly, the line between medicine and poison is thin. Alcohol dries the yin, depletes the fluids, and weakens the body's defense gate. What seemed harmless at 40 may become harmful at 70.
That's such an important reminder. I think many people underestimate how much the body's tolerance changes with age. What was once moderation can suddenly be too much.
Exactly. The mistake is not only what people consume, but also how they fail to notice the signals. The skin is like a messenger knocking at the door. If the knock is ignored, if redness lingers, if dryness persists, people call it just aging. But often, it is the body asking for relief from what burdens it.
That's powerful. So really, the mistakes aren't only about choosing the wrong foods, they're also about not listening to the skin's warnings.
Yes, and the good news is, when you stop feeding the fire, the body begins to cool itself. Even small changes, removing hidden sugar, switching from processed oils to olive oil, reducing alcohol, can awaken the skin's natural repair.
So far, we've looked at what slows down skin healing: sugar, processed oils, alcohol, and so on. But that leads to the big question: what should someone over 60 eat instead? If creams and surface treatments aren't enough, what foods actually rebuild the skin's defenses from within?
A good question. In Chinese medicine, we believe food is the first medicine. The Yellow Emperor's classic says, when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is not needed. For skin healing, there are 6 families of food I often encourage in my older patients. Each one touches a different root of the garden. Some calm inflammation, some restore moisture, some bring strength to the blood and qi. Let me share them with you.
Please do. I think our listeners will appreciate hearing them one by one.
The first is fatty fish, such as salmon, mackerel or sardines. These fish are rich in omega-3 oils, which calm the fires of inflammation. In the elderly, when blood vessels narrow and flow slows, these oils smooth the rivers. They also nourish collagen, so that wounds can close more quickly and wrinkles deepen less sharply. The second is fruits rich in vitamin C, kiwi, oranges, acerola cherry. Vitamin C is like the carpenter's glue. Without it, collagen cannot be built properly and the wound remains open. In TCM, we also say these fruits brighten the qi and clear heat, leaving the skin fresh. The third is fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, miso, natto. These feed the gut, and the gut is the root of immunity. A large part of the immune system is organised in the gut, and fermented foods can help support immune balance. The fourth is what I call hydration heroes. Cucumber, watermelon, celery. Older bodies often lose their thirst signal. These foods bring water and minerals in a gentle, absorbable form. They moisten dryness and allow new skin cells to travel across a wound bed like boats on a river. The fifth is berries. Blueberries, strawberries, blackberries. Their deep colours come from polyphenols, which protect against oxidative stress. You might say they are shields against the rust of aging. They also improve microcirculation.
That's a beautiful list. And what I love is how each food seems to serve a different role, like different members of a repair team. Fish calm inflammation, vitamin C fruits glue collagen, fermented foods direct the immune system, hydration heroes keep the ground moist, berries protect from stress, and seeds supply the tools.
Yes, you see the picture clearly. Together, these foods form a harmony. No single one is enough, but when combined, the skin feels supported from every side.
What's striking to me, Doctor, Hanohara, is how closely your list matches what we're seeing in Western studies. For example, fatty fish. Omega-3s help regulate inflammation, and some research suggests they may support healing, though effects on closure speed and scarring are still being studied. And vitamin C, we know it's absolutely essential for collagen synthesis. Patients deficient in vitamin C often develop fragile skin, slow healing wounds, even bleeding gums. When older adults increase their intake, their recovery speeds up significantly.
Yes. In our tradition, vitamin C fruits are considered foods that brighten and refresh. But modern science shows the same truth. Collagen needs this nutrient as the carpenter needs glue.
Exactly. And fermented foods? This is another fascinating bridge. Western microbiome research now shows that the gut plays a massive role in regulating the immune system. If the gut flora is balanced, inflammation decreases across the whole body, including the skin. If it's imbalanced, wounds linger, infections rise. So when you recommend miso or kefir, you're aligning perfectly with the latest science.
The East and West meet in the gut. We have long said, if the stomach is at peace, the skin is calm.
And hydration. Science agrees with you there too. Dehydrated skin loses its barrier function, slowing down the migration of new cells. In studies, even mild dehydration in older adults led to significantly slower wound healing. So cucumbers, watermelon, foods with structured water, they make sense both poetically and biologically. Then berries, polyphenols, antioxidants. Studies from Japan and the US show that older adults who eat berries are rich in antioxidants that help reduce oxidative stress. They may support skin health, though direct evidence on circulation or infections is limited. And seeds and nuts, especially pumpkin seeds, are one of the best natural sources of zinc. We know zinc deficiency is one of the biggest nutritional causes of delayed wound healing in seniors.
It brings me joy to hear this. For many years, my patients would ask, why do these old remedies still matter? And I tell them, because truth is truth. Whether you look with the eyes of tradition or the eyes of science, the skin still listens to the same foods.
That's so well said. It reminds me that East and West aren't at odds. They're often describing the same mountain, just from different sides. One with metaphors of rivers and gardens, the other with lab tests and data. But at the peak, they meet.
Yes, and at that peak, the wisdom is simple. The body is designed to heal. Our task is only to clear the path.
Dr. Hinohara, I'd love it if you could share a story from your practice. Something that shows how these food changes actually play out in real life for someone struggling with slow healing skin.
Yes, I will share one memory that has stayed with me. Many years ago, a woman in her 70s came to my clinic in Chengdu. She was a gardener, always tending to her flowers. But one spring she scratched her forearm on a rose bush. Weeks passed, and the wound refused to heal. It remained red, tender, and painful. She covered it with creams and bandages, but nothing helped. When she sat before me, I looked at her skin and also at her eyes. I could see dryness, inflammation, and fatigue that creams alone could not touch. So I asked her about her daily meals. She told me she ate little fish, few fruits, and instead relied on sweet breads, fried snacks, and tea strong with caffeine. To her, these foods were comforting, but in her body they were slowing the rivers of healing.
That sounds very similar to many of my patients here in the West. Comfort foods often come at the cost of recovery.
Yes. So I suggested small, gentle changes, not punishment, but nourishment. Twice a week, I asked her to eat salmon with ginger. Each morning, I asked her to add a handful of berries or a slice of kiwi. I encouraged her to drink warm water with cucumber slices instead of endless cups of strong tea. And I gave her miso soup to restore her gut, along with a small handful of pumpkin seeds in the afternoon. Within 3 weeks, her wound began to close. Within 6 weeks, the scar had faded, and her skin looked brighter, more supple. She returned to me, smiling, saying, "Doctor, I thought it was age, but it was only my choices."
That's an incredible story. And it shows the power of food because nothing else in her routine had changed, right?
Correct. No new creams, no medicines, only food. This is why I always remind my patients, aging is inevitable, but decline is not. When we change the inputs, the body still knows how to repair.
That's a message I think everyone listening can take to heart. Age may slow us down, but it doesn't erase the body's wisdom. So let's bring this down to something practical. If you're listening at home and wondering, what should I actually do tomorrow? Here's the plan. First, look at the 6 foods that quietly slow healing. Sugar, processed oils, excess alcohol, certain dairy, refined white carbs, and too much caffeine. Start reducing those. You don't have to cut them all overnight, but even small reductions can make a big difference. Second, add in the 6 healing foods: fatty fish, vitamin C fruits, fermented foods, hydration heroes, berries, and zinc-rich seeds and nuts. The idea isn't perfection, it's consistency. If these foods appear on your plate most days, your skin will have what it needs to recover.
Yes, Doctor. Miller. Let me add some rhythm for the day. Mornings are the time of renewal, when qi rises like the sun. Begin with something light and moistening, perhaps a bowl of yogurt with berries or warm water with cucumber. This sets the tone for hydration and healing. At midday, when digestion is strongest, enjoy your fatty fish with colourful vegetables rich in vitamin C. This is when your body can best transform food into strong blood and qi. Evenings should be gentle. A small bowl of miso soup, some steamed greens, or a handful of pumpkin seeds. Avoid heavy sweets or alcohol late at night, because the body then turns to repair. Do not burden it when it is working hardest.
That's a wonderful rhythm. Morning hydration, midday nourishment, evening restoration. I think people can remember that easily.
And remember, the goal is not strict rules, but daily harmony. If most of your meals support your skin, the occasional treat will not undo your progress. Balance, not punishment.
So, if you're watching this at home, tomorrow, try beginning your breakfast with a handful of berries, swap one refined carb for a whole grain, add a piece of fatty fish at lunch, and keep a small bag of pumpkin seeds nearby for snacks. These small shifts create real change within weeks.
Yes. And as you do this, listen to your skin. It will speak. The redness will fade faster, the dryness will ease, the small cuts will close sooner. When you see these changes, you will know Your food is working as medicine.
Dr. Hinohara, this has been such an enlightening conversation. We began by talking about slow healing cuts and wrinkles, but we've ended with something far greater. The idea that food can either weaken or strengthen the body's frontline defense. I want to thank you for showing us that healing isn't just about medicine, but also about daily choices.
Thank you, Dr. Miller. It is always my honour to sit with you. In my country, we say, to nourish the tree, water its roots. To heal the skin, feed its source. If people remember this, they will no longer see their skin as something fragile, but as something alive, capable of renewal.
That's beautiful. To our listeners, if you try these food changes, notice what happens in the next 7 days. Does your skin feel calmer? Do small scratches fade more quickly? Let us know. We'd love to hear your stories.
Yes, healing is not only for the young, it is for everyone who gives the body what it needs. May each of you eat in a way that brings strength, and may your skin thank you in silence.
Until next time, this is the Senior Health Podcast. Thank you for joining us, and take good care of your skin from the inside out.